where you been at, bruh? My bad, y'all. Trying to get back to regular scheduled program with the every week. Got y'all a video today. We're gonna be talking about a book I just got done reading. If y'all, before we get started though, if y'all could, can y'all please follow the Instagram page Leek Broke, LEEKBROK, 2 E's. So I'm gonna keep posting the long videos on YouTube and sometimes not so long, but I'm gonna definitely try to post on Instagram too, like the quick videos summarizing where I ain't talking y'all heads off, just quick pointers. I'm trying to get consistent with that as well, but sorry, excuse me for the hiatus. Like I said, trying to get back to where I'm posting at least a minimum of every week on YouTube, whether it's just like talking about books or just various topics. So getting back in the groove of that, I ain't really had no excuses of why I haven't been posting. So let's get back to that, just getting back into the flow of things. But today we got the Overspent American, Why We Want What We Don't Need. And it was a pretty cool book. The reason I say it's cool because it was written in the 90s, and you can sort of kind of see a lot of like what was going on back then is going on today. Obviously, it's probably way more worse today, but you know, people have still been struggling with their money way back then. So you know, it's pretty cool of like a lot of the similarities of what's going on, and a lot of our older people that was born back then, they could probably relate. I think we, you know, me personally, I could always see like where it's been like people around me that have, not everybody, but some people have always been struggling, you know. So we just trying to get it to where we can get like to where not so many people are struggling and being more smarter with their money, even when times are good, hard, regardless, you know. Because when you're smarter with your money, when the times are hard, you know, things slow up, things of that nature, it's more easier to maneuver. But this is what we got today, and just really emphasizing like the consumerism and the materialism problem in America, and not just America, because you look all throughout history, we as humans, we've loved things when, you know, in society and status and things of that nature, and it's not really a problem until it is, and we're gonna talk about a few examples of how it does become a problem sometimes. So let's try to get into it today. Try not to talk y'all heads off, but y'all know how that be. So what we got? So, oh my bad, y'all. Damn, how I made my hair smaller? There we go. We love stuff, and excuse me if I spell anything wrong, anything like that. I did not like go over this before I run it, but people associate the material items they possess with their identity. The clothes we wear, the cars we drive, the house we live in, the experience, etc. And like I said, this is not just an American thing. Like, we've been like this since the beginning of the time. If you go back to, you look at the Romans, you look at the Egyptians, like, we like things, you know, and with the things, it sort of kind of separates class and status to a certain extent. And, you know, we sort of kind of taught this since we were kids. We're going to talk about it as well, but like, even like subconsciously, like whether you think about it or not, the things we have or don't have usually impacts how we view success. People feel less than when they don't have certain things and feel successful when they do. Also, subconsciously, we judge people by the things they have. So just think about, I know I do this a lot. Like when I see like a really expensive car, I might say like, damn, what they do for work? Or you might see a really expensive house and you just, man, they must be, you might associate the house with the occupation, like damn, they a doctor, you know, they doing something, they got money. But a lot of times we don't realize like a person might have a really expensive car, and that car is all their money tied up in that car. Like they might have went broke on the car. You know, we gotta start thinking about it that way as well. Like he bought $100,000 car, he just spent $100,000 that he probably didn't have. So we gotta start looking at it that way as well. But like I was saying from the beginning, this is not new at all. So you might, in the books, use an example of back in the 1700s, the day laborer might feel ashamed because he can't afford a nice shirt, or he might not be able to buy the leather shoes. In ancient times, people purchased all types of stuff to flaunt their wealth. And that's why I say, like, sometimes status can be sort of kind of bad, because you might have a person where they have, or they don't have, all the nice things, and they sort of kind of feel less than. That's what I think the problem is, and where we sort of kind of got to get away from this materialistic game, because I'm going to keep emphasizing it's something we can't win long term. And this book was written in the 90s, and you see people losing it. So think about now, where it's even more harder, you know. So, you know, I think of an example like when I was a kid in school, and you might have it where, say it's Christmas or something, you might have a kid that didn't get a lot of stuff. He's sort of kind of feeling like, down, and we gotta sort of kind of try to fix that over time. I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong, but I want people to be aware of the problem we're facing, which I was just saying. As a society, we're overly materialistic in our such consumers. Most people are going to lose playing this game. What's next? I'm on my head. Since we were kids, and this is what I was just saying. My bad, y'all. Since we were kids, we've been taught the idea of having things. Think about when you were younger. I can definitely think of, like, when I was younger and had, like, seeing the MTV cribs, like, damn, I'm gonna have a huge house when I get older. Or the really nice car, I definitely used to think like that. And I see it now with my sister. She's 4, and she done got to the point where, like, things are, important, which is not really a bad thing, but, we're going to keep talking, like, where it can be bad. So it's like, hey, Ty, look, I got some new shoes, or hey, Ty, look at my purse. Like, she's starting to, put in her head, like, things are really good to have. Like, it's good to have a lot of stuff. And with my sister, which I see with a lot of adults as well, is like, she might get something, whether it not, like, be a toy or something, and she play with it for a day, then she bored with it. I see that with a lot of adults where they get a lot of stuff, and then they don't even use it, Who got the new shoes when they came out? Who got the newest technology? I remember Chris, when I was like 5th grade, I got the Beats, man. I felt like I was on top of the world, You get to tell all your friends, and it feels really good. Let me see. If you weren't able to get stuff, you felt left out in a way. And that's why I say that's where it can get bad. And, like I said, you got the kid that maybe wasn't able to get a lot of stuff when they was younger. Or you also have it where you putting pressure on your parents. Of some parents might not, as a parent, you're going to do for your kids. You're going to make sure they straight. So a lot of times you putting a lot of stress in it. Well, I'm not a parent, but like, say for our parents or my parents, I done seen like where they going overboard for them or doing too much for themselves to make sure that we're straight. So when we keep talking about this idea of having things and materialism, it sometimes puts a lot of pressure on us as people, and we've all felt that. I know I have. It puts a lot of pressure on the parents to make sure the child has the latest of everything, whether they can afford it or not. Like, you don't want it where your kid come home sad because they couldn't get stuff. And that's why I'm going to keep emphasizing, let's try to start changing the mentality we think when it comes to things. I definitely remember when I was in middle school having like Converses, and you sort of kind of don't feel like, you don't really feel cool in a sense. Like, in my head, I'm fresh, but everybody not looking at it that way because it's just Converses. Because this is when we going to like brands. When you got people with the new Nikes and stuff, they the cools, and you sort of kind of feel away. When I hang out with my little sisters, guess what they want to show me? And that's like what I was saying in the beginning, like all the things she got. MTV Cribs, watch celebrities, and our parents and older people around us. So of course, when we got older, we want to buy more and more stuff. And like I said, I see a lot of that with adults these days. How did we get here? And obviously, America, like, we're not the first country where we've had this over consumerism, super duper materialistic thing, but like, you can look throughout history where you've seen the, like the Egyptians, or you might have seen, what was the Roman Empire, you might have seen all these empires where they've done the same exact thing. So yeah, I remember we had the 1920s, so after World War I, it was a recession, and then from there we had the the Roaring Twenties. So that's where people started using credit and everything. We get the Ford, and everybody's having fun, all the speculation bye. You remember it popped at the end of the 1920s with the stock market crash. So then through the 30s, we trying to, the Great Depression died, and then we get World War II. And then after World War II, that's when it really got on and popping. Like, the American consumer was born. Soldiers coming home. It's time to start a family. It's time to start a business. It's time to start buying shit. And that's exactly what we did. The government kept their interest rates low to keep borrowing cheap, and a thrift mindset shifted to a spend mindset. So instead of just buying things cash, which started in the 20s, now you could buy things on credit. After 1945, citizens were encouraged to spend. So they was, if I'm not mistaken, America was sort of kind of in trouble a little bit of like not trying to have another, economic depression. So they encouraged the citizens to spend to get the ball rolling. The GI Bill helped soldiers get homes. Credit was emphasized, so consumer debt went up. So everybody coming home, we getting the cribs, we getting the stuff in the cribs, washing machines, we getting the refrigerators. You also got to think all these new appliances and stuff. Now we got the cars with the radios, like, bro, it's on and popping. This was the 1945s going into the 50s. In 1945, the total U.S. household debt was $29.4 billion. By 1965, it was $331 billion. And I'm also stealing a lot of this from Morgan House's The Psychology of Money, not just the Overspent American. People were buying everything. Cars, appliances, air conditioning. The farmer bought some new farm equipment. The farmer's wife got a new refrigerator. Suburban family got a new dishwashing machine and a new lawnmower. Like, we was buying everything. This is where you get like the American dream of the big house with the white picket fence and, everything's good. People wages doubled, so that meant more spending. Folks are riding around in the cars playing with the toys. Life was good. So this, like I said, the 50s. Excuse me. And, with the people's money was going up as well. They was making more money as well, so they could afford to spend this. What was black spending like around these times? The reason I want to emphasize that is because, so you got, I just got done reading The Color of Law. Trying to be more informed on my black history. It's sort of kind of sad how much I don't know. But the reason I say that is because, okay, we say like the GI Bill, so when the soldiers come home and get homes and stuff, a lot of so like the veterans, they couldn't get homes. Like, they didn't allow black Americans to purchase homes. They weren't able to get into the wealth game like that. And, so it's like two completely different worlds, unless you're blind. I'm African American. Appreciate you if you are blind, you watching that. I truly appreciate that. But, and y'all can say I'm black, so we definitely got to talk about that as well. Like, it was a different ball game for black people around this time. And then even, we watched that video going into the 1950s, where we watched that video, it was like how to sell to the Negro. And then, like, they realized, oh, shoot, black people do got money to spend. How do we sell to these people? So, like I said, I'm really behind on my black history. I'm trying to learn a lot more. And we're going to keep talking about that as well as I do learn a lot more. But, like I said, I just read The Color of Law. So if you haven't read that, check that out. That's talking about how the, it was a lot of things put into place to hold black people from being able to purchase homes. And as you look at it, home buying is one of the biggest ways to attain wealth today in this country. And you look at the wealth gap between blacks and whites, is one of the reasons so like why white people have so much more wealth than blacks, because a lot of black people couldn't own homes with different laws and things set into place against them. And The Color of Law just taught me a lot of history about home ownership in America in general. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. But let's keep rolling. How did we get here? Continue. The classes felt similar amongst each other. So that's the thing I really, really want to emphasize. And I think that's where things got problematic. So you got so you got the rich people, you got the middle class, you got the poor class. They all felt like they could get the same things because it wasn't that bad. Everybody was getting money at this time, so the person in the middle class felt like he could get what the person in the rich class, the people that made more money could get. So the rich man smoked the same cigarette as the poor man, shaves with the same razor, uses the same sort of telephone, vacuum cleaner, radio and TV set, etc. So everybody felt the same. Like, if you got this, I can get it too, no matter how much money you made. And this was in the 50s and the 60s. So then we're going to see what the problem get. People measured the success against the people around them from 1944 to 1980. People had a lot of peers to compare themselves to, keeping up with the Joneses. Debt rose a lot, but so did the income of these people, so it wasn't too bad. Household debt increased 5x from 1947 to 1957 due to consumption culture, but income growth grew too. So it's like, the debt rose, but people was making money as well, so they didn't feel it as much compared to like say it's like today when you look at inflation, how much stuff has got more expensive. Our wages haven't went up with it over time. Back then they didn't. The wages were going up with it. The debt was manageable. Household debt, the income is over 100% today. At this time, it was below 60%. Like, you look at a lot of statistics from back then, you look at today, you're like, damn. My bad, y'all. The home ownership rate was 47% in 1900, and it was 53% in 1945. It rose to 62% by 1970. People were using debt now because back then it wasn't that accessible. Debt was culturally acceptable now. God damn. Things start to shift. So remember, we said everybody felt similar. The rich man, the poor man could do it, the rich man could do it, the middle man could do it, the poor man could do it, the middle man could do it, the rich man. But then this is when the problem starts arising. In the 80s, the top earners started making way more money. Regular people watching these high earners buy the big houses, watches, cars, and then marketing was starting to take over as well. So remember, everybody felt similar. So it's like in the 50s, I could buy what the rich man could buy. But now, the rich man is making way more money. I'm still making my same amount of money. Back then, it was around 500, just talking about like the advertising. Back then, it was around 500 ads a day. Today, it's about 5,000, and we wonder why we can't stop spending. Like, everything around us encourages us to spend more money, to buy more things, to have more stuff. We have to get out of that cycle. Well, we don't have to, but, just a suggestion. The person, and this going back to like the top earners making a lot of money. So the person earning 75,000 comparing themselves to the person that earns 90,000, that ain't really bad. You make 15 more thousand, but that that's reachable. Like I can still get what you can get. Now, the reference group is a person in deep 6 figures or even 7 figures. That's where it starts becoming a problem. So now you have Joe. He an investment banker making $900,000 a year. He purchases a huge home with 2 Mercedes and he sends his kids to the top school because he can afford it. Joe is a big dog. This shit ain't nothing to Joe. But you also have Peter. Peter, he a big dog too, but he ain't, Peter like Joe pit bull. Peter like, I ain't gonna say he a poodle. What's between a poodle and a pit bull? Like a damn, I don't know. I can't even think of that. But you get what I'm saying? Like Peter ain't making what Joe making. If Peter was comparing himself to the maybe Ronnie that's making 90,000, it won't be that bad. But Peter trying to compare himself to Joe. But y'all remember what I said? The classes felt similar. So Peter feel like he could do what Joe can do. And that's where Peter gets squeezed. So Peter, he a bank branch manager. He making good money, 80,000 a year. But he feel like he's supposed to have what Joe has based on the belief his parents instilled in him. Remember, Peter's parents and Joe's parents, they from the 50s. I could do that back then because it wasn't that bad. But now, things starting to shift. It's starting to separate, So Peter thinking, I can do what Joe do, is going to burn him. Things are different now. Peter takes out a huge mortgage that he can't afford. He has accumulated $45,000 in credit card debt. He leases 2 cars, and his kids have student loans in the future. He can't afford the stuff, but he wants the same lifestyle, and he believes he can deserve it in his mind because remember, his parents told him, we're all the same. Damn, Pete. The old American dream was a little suburban house, white picket fence, 2 cars, a vacation per year. I don't even expand it. I don't know that was type right there. Now houses have doubled the size, cars are way more exotic, way more vacations. Now you got a computer crib, kids going to private college, designer clothes, microwaves, Jordans. Like, boys going crazy now. So people are spending way more, but their incomes aren't going up like the 50s. So now you're dissatisfied with the life in a way. People are more worried about what they can't afford instead of being grateful for what they already have. And remember, y'all, this the 80s and 90s. So remember, things only got more expensive, have gotten more expensive. And oh shit, buy less stuff campaign. This is why I kind of say, man, just a thought. Being overly materialistic restricts your freedom. What's one of the main indicators of happiness? And this going back to the Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. There's nothing wrong if you have it. So like if you are a Joe making 900,000, or not even nine, but you making the money, you got the nice things, but it's not restricting you. Like you can afford these things and you still can save money on the side. Cool, but that's where the problem comes in because most people can't afford the stuff they buy. If all your money is going towards paying off nice things, most people get depressed and tired from that. Like in the beginning, when you first get the car, or you first get the crib or whatever you got, everything's good. Like you getting the praise, everything good. But after a while, it wears off. So now you got the car, but you're damn near about to miss out your payments because you really can't afford it. That's when it starts like, damn, this shit ain't. You know what I'm saying? You can't even miss a day at work no more. That's where the problem comes in. Yes, your ego is fulfilled in the beginning, but after a while, bro, it's gonna wear off. And this is from Morgan Housel, The Art of Spending Money, Reverse Obituary. So when you have it where, I'm sure at this point we've all read an obituary from like, say like a family member, a friend that has passed. Sadly, you know, people pass away. It's very horrible because I know we've all had like a family member or something that's somebody that's really close to us that hasn't passed. But I say that to say, like, when you look at an obituary, what do they say in their obituary? You never have you seen an obituary where it's like, he had 5 cars, or he had the huge house, or you know, that's never about what life is about, you know. So why do we emphasize so much on things and having all these things and having all, if it don't really mean nothing? And of course, I'm not an idiot, like I'm not being stupid. Like obviously, they do mean something because we buy them and we spend a lot of money on certain things, but I want us to find like that balance between getting the nice things and making sure we're handling the business and not restricting our freedom or killing our financial futures because of the nice thing. Like I said, in the obituary, you've never seen where they, excuse me, my bad, y'all, where they talk about all the stuff they have. They talk about the person you were. They talk about your family. They talk about the things you did, the experiences, the things you did for the community, you know, stuff like that. So we got to start thinking about that. The new American dream, I feel like, is freedom. So, you know, like I said, the old American dream was the white picket fence, the big house, da-da-da. And it's still possible for some people. Like, you see some people, young people doing it, where they get in the house and they cool, but I don't think it's one of these things where everybody has to chase that dream, because now you have it where a person might not be able to obtain the old American dream, and they sort of kind of sad in a way. And it's like, we just got to transition with the times. We got to understand where we at. Like, you know, if you look throughout history, all types of things, it's new all the time. Like, bring it back up to Morgan Housel, like he's talking about like retirement savings is only what, 50 years old, less than that. You know, you talk about 100 years ago, people didn't retire. 100 years ago, people didn't buy homes, or, you know, home ownership, you know, we just looked at the statistic, home ownership was a lot lower. Like, we're always transitioning with the time. So I think we gotta make sure we make it, I think we gotta make sure we're staying quick on our feet, and we're adapting with them. Obviously, I'm not saying don't buy homes or anything like that, but I'm saying making sure it works for you. Like, don't force yourself to go buy a home right now if it's not good for your financial situation or your situation in general. It might be something where we might have to start waiting a little longer, which is okay. We can't win playing this consumerism game long term. We have to shift our mindsets. And I don't want y'all to think I'm saying homes or, like, you know, housing and things. And I'm just talking about like things where we're talking about really expensive cars or homes that is out of our budget. But it's sort of kind of tricky, because I say homes out of our budget, and it's like you have people that are making really, really good money, and they can't get a, you know, like when they say like starter homes are $400,000, like that's horrible. Like that's just out of our control, in the sense of like something got it. Like, you know, that's not on us. That's not a person being what I'm trying to say. It's not a person being living above their means. It's just like shit just so expensive. But on the other side, you got people that are living above their means, way above their means. So we gotta hold ourselves accountable. I'm a realist. I know most people aren't going to listen, but it will come around. And the sad thing about, like, when I say it'll come around, when it comes around, I ain't gonna say it'll be too late, but damn near it'll be too late. Assets first, then we can do the rest later. And like I said, bro, if a lot of people are, there's nothing wrong if you have it. So a lot of us, we got the really nice things. We might have a nice crib, nice car, and we still able to save and invest our money. Making sure we handling the business first, making sure we handling the business first. Pay yourself first, going back to, just the basic rule, making sure we can save a minimum, save and invest 10 to 20% of our money minimum, and then, enjoy the rest from there. And if you want to save and invest more, save and invest more. Status spending. Status spending has been a thing since the beginning of time. When we see certain stuff, we automatically associate it with money. Think about if you see a person driving a Porsche down the road, or about when you drive through a really nice neighborhood. What I was saying in the beginning, you like, damn, what they do? You automatically assume the owner has money or a nice career. They've done studies where it shows the nicer stuff you have, the better people treat you. And bro, I really do hate that. Like, we do it subconsciously. I know for a fact I do it. Like, that's just how we were taught. Like, what they say, the study of, like, when you're at like a red light, and if a nice car if there's a nice car in front of you, subconsciously, like, say the light turn green, they don't go, you would wait longer to blow at them and say if it was a not nicer car. Like, that's crazy. We don't think about it, but there's been studies that show, like, the more stuff you have, nicer stuff you have, the nicer people treat you. Like, we gotta become, a lot of us are not even aware of that, and that's where, like, just having awareness will take us a long way. How do we feel when we make these purchases? Amazing. It feels good when you had a nice car, the expensive outfit, or the really nice crib. You're respected amongst your peers, and your ego is fulfilled. Sometimes we truly like these things, but a lot of times it's to show people, hey, look at me, I'm doing good. And like I said, I'm stealing a lot of Morgan Housel, both of his books, The Psychology of Money and The Art of Spending Money. So definitely cool reads. And going back to Morgan Housel, he has utility versus status. So we got the low-end BMW versus the high-end Toyota. So the utility is the Toyota. It's going to do what it's due. That. It's going to last you at least 300,000 miles. You ain't got to worry about it. But the status, you ain't getting no status out of a Toyota. I got a Toyota. I'm trying to keep my Toyota at least, hopefully another 5 years. That's my baby, and she done the most for me. I ain't got to worry about too much when she need to get fixed. It ain't too expensive. Y'all know how the Toyotas and Hondas get. Nissans, y'all know what we talking about. But like I said, the BMW be the status. So you get the low-end BMW, people gonna look at you a little, damn, he the one, But it's not utility in the sense of when that break down. If anybody has a foreign car, no, when no motherfuckers break down, OMG, boy, you gonna have to pay a ticket. Utility versus status. Are you using your money as a tool to live a better life, or as a yardstick to measure yourself against others? Another example would be a big house. So I seen this conversation. It was like a younger person and like their grandpa's son, and they was talking about how, so like the grandpa has a house, and he was talking about, like, he has a nice medium-sized house. Like 4 bedrooms, everything good. But grandpa was like, if I made more money, I could have a mansion by now. So the utility is a house. You have a house. You obviously need a roof over your head. But, also you want to use it where you have friends over and things of that nature. But the grandpa in the house he currently has never have family over. So the house he has now is perfect. But the status would be the mansion. But why would you need a mansion? You get what I'm saying? It's just to show people, hey, y'all, look at me. Look how much money I made. Look how much money I can spend. Status. Another example is restaurants. Like, me personally, I was just telling somebody this. Like, I've never, my bad, y'all. I've never really eaten at the top dog, expensive, super duper restaurants. It's status. And I can't relate because I never eaten there. So, obviously, I hope the food is a little bit, better in the sense of, like, quality or whatnot. But it's really mostly it's a status play. I eat in that, I remember one time I ate at Benihana's. I think that's probably the most, top dog restaurant I've eaten at. But I look at it for the utility part in the sense of I can go to Fuji's and get full off a $10 meal. You know, I ain't gotta go to, you feel me? But I also understand with the status thing, like I just said, bro, it feels really good when you had the nice things. It feels good when people look at you a certain way because of what you got. Like I remember the first time I drove in the Tesla, I rode in Tesla, I ain't drive one. It was Uber. I was like, damn, this thing nice. Like, I gotta have this. But I'm gonna keep emphasizing the question of, for some of us, especially us that make regular incomes, are we gonna keep killing our financial futures? Are we gonna keep prolonging our journey to freedom and wealth because of the status and nice things? You know, that's what I'm keep asking people. And obviously, personal finance is personal. You know your personal situation. Are you overspending on the nice things? Like I said, if you have it, cool. That's the problem. A lot of people buy things completely above their means. I had to pose a question: are we going to prioritize nice things over our financial futures? It has gotten so bad that when a person can't afford to buy certain things, it leads to depression. People steal and kill to have nice things, clothes, cars, etc. And we have all seen this before. Like we all have to do our parts in becoming aware and seeing what can we do to stop these things. And it don't have to be like where you gotta be Superman and do the most. Like just showing a younger person, hey, just showing them might introduce them to a book. That's why I keep, we're gonna talk about what we talking about, The Millionaire Next Door, or the next Millionaire Next Door, because that's the one I fully finished. That was the one his daughter written. Just showing them like a mindset shift, or just doing just little things. Like it don't gotta be you gotta extravagant. People care about status so much that they will wear the fake version of it just to be recognized. What's next? Branding is everything. I don't think I went too deep into this one. A chairman at a company, the brand defines the consumer. We are what we wear, what we eat, what we drive. Status versus utility, I said utility versus status, either or, but we just went over that. Even the invisibles get shine now. Think about what's under the hood of your car, underwear. So, what you drive. Okay, so you got your invisibles, you got your visibles. So your visibles is what you can see, like the car you drive, the shoes you got on, the pants, the shirt you got on. Typically a person gonna spend top dollar on the visibles because people can see that. If a person can't see it, I'm not gonna spend top dollar because I can't show nobody what this is. But now we got the invisibles that are getting shine. So not only is the car, we talking about what's under the hood. On the back of the car, what you see SRT, you see, you know what I'm saying? Like that's getting shine now. We getting shine on the underwear. Niggas is sagging now just to show that they got rich underwear. I need to wear rich underwear to hold my nuts. Like, bro, that's where we at with it now. So the invisible's getting shine now. And nothing wrong with you got it. Don't be wearing no goddamn Ethicas, Supreme undies, and you ain't. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. I'm just saying, bro. Don't do it. The recognition feels amazing. Like I say, it really do. When you have something somebody doesn't have, people are going to pay attention to you, and that attention feels good. Let's be honest. I can think of a perfect example of this because I'm guilty of this as well. I remember when I worked at AT&T, and people started coming in. It wasn't a lot of people. That's the point, though. But they had the Apple cards, and I used to want one so bad because I never seen too many people with it. Like when you have something that somebody doesn't have, it just, people gonna look at you like, damn. It's like the Amex cards, and when a person lay down the Amex card, you just gonna like, like the American Express card. Like, come on now. There's usually not much difference in quality. It's the name that makes the difference. These companies are really good at what they do when it comes to making us spend money. And if you look at like all the studies or like just little simple stuff that the companies do, it gets weird. And this is where I'm saying like we gotta making sure we doing our part, because I remember when I was younger And like the older people around me was always talking about like designer and this and designer that. And yeah, like I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with designer, but for one, I never wore designer, so I can sort of kind of like I don't know, bruh. Like we I don't know. We just had it's a I definitely think it's a conversation that needs to be had. Like it's just a brand, you know. Like that's why I'm saying the people with the influence got to start. The people that do have the influence over the youth, where it's like the ones in the community, like we got to start doing a little different. I feel like obviously it's like we have to be honest with ourselves. People live with high denial about their spending and consumption patterns. Most people don't track their spending, things can add up quick. We talk about that all the time. Like just do a few months of tracking your spending, you'll see like, damn, that's where my money been going. And I promise you, you'll magically be able to start saving money. And yeah, man, stop lying to yourself about what you buying and shit. I done the same thing. When you start just being honest with yourself, it just makes it a lot easier. But our egos won't let us be honest sometimes. Many adults blame the marketing and advertisement for the excessive consumerism on young children, but don't realize they're the reason. Yeah, I remember I used to deal with this when I was younger, like the older people around me talking about like designer and stuff, and it's like there's nothing wrong with it, but it is something wrong with it. Like, what is it? Like, what's the importance of it? It's just a brand at the end of the day. And like I said, I've never bought it before, but even if I do buy it in the future, it's like, shit, I'm a part of the problem too. We usually give ourselves bad reasons to purchase stuff. A lot of time we'll say we want something for one reason, but don't say the real reason. Man, y'all been chilling. I'm just a girl. Usually she say that. She about to do some, man, come on now. But yeah, let's be honest. A lot of us make horrible financial decisions and give ourselves horrible reasons to buy. I know I have. We just got to be honest. The fear of falling. See, I didn't talk y'all heads. Like, this is why I'm making the Instagram page, because, I've been talking for 37 minutes. I probably got about 20 more minutes to go. I'm going to just make a quick little 1-minute video on the IG. People look at downgrading material items as being a failure. In this example, she talks about the plant manager who loses their job but wouldn't let them go to Mercedes and nice home. Come on, man. It's okay. Like, I swear to God, it's okay. I don't see nothing wrong with downgrading your life to elevate, to put yourself in a better position in a few years. The problem I see is where a person downgrades and they still bullshitting. So like, it's like the saving money example. So a person always like want to project like, oh, I can't save money because da. Oh, I can't save money because this, da. And then when they actually had the opportunity to save money, guess what they do? They just go spend that money on some more BS. That's where like the problem comes in. We have to start being honest with ourselves when it comes to our spending habits. This ends up wiping out retirement portfolio in the process. Your ego is keeping you afloat. You done lost everything, but you still got the bins. You still the one, for sure. Like we gotta change our thinking when it comes to materialism. Like a lot of us put materialism over stability and wealth. Like I think about it this way. So when we okay, let's think of a young person, a 21-year-old. If a 21-year-old in our community, let's say the black community, if a 21-year-old purchases a really, really nice car, they're gonna get a lot of praise. Compared to if that 21-year-old buys a beater and is debt free, they ain't gonna get that many claps, So we gotta start changing that. We gotta start putting the wealth first, and then the funny stuff. Like I still want us to enjoy ourselves, but I want us to also making sure we're stable. We're obtaining what, like a lot of us are not destroying it completely, but we're prolonging our freedom because of the materialism. Our society. This is also what I want to talk about. Our society revolves around growth, especially in our consumer lifestyles. This is going back to lifestyle inflation. And if y'all haven't seen it, I just watched season 2. What I keep saying, Your Friends or Neighbor on Apple TV. Perfect example of like the money doesn't mean nothing. And you know, you killing two birds with one stone. You getting entertained with it as well. It's not just like a money show that's boring as hell. It's really good, I promise y'all. Apple TV, Your Friends and Neighbors. Season 2 just dropped. You got 2 seasons to watch. You'll be, if you're a binger like me, you'll be done in about a week. In the book, she explains one reason for this: the work and spend culture. Employers work long hours to afford things, and when they increase their income, they spend the extra money or even more nicer things. We look and see what others around us are doing, and most people are not saving. They're spending, so we spend. But what we don't realize is that when we measure our satisfaction, by how well we are doing compared to others, general increases in influence do not raise our personal satisfaction. So we've all been there where it's like, man, I didn't work hard, but I deserve this. Buy you a little something. Don't buy you a little bit something. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, don't be the person where you're working hard to afford a life that's gonna have you working hard forever. You're never able to get afloat. You're never able to get above the water. You're just constantly drowning. And you work hard. You like, damn, I need this. So you go get you a nice car. Then you like, damn, I need some more money because all the money going towards the car and maybe the nice crib. So you go get another job. Now you working 2 jobs. You busting your ass. You like, with the second job, you had a chance to save some money, but you like, nah, now I need a nicer car. So you go upgrade. So now you got 2 jobs. You got a nicer car. So they showing you love, but you working even more hard. And it's like you just keep running this hamster wheel. Like, we have to become aware that we have to get out of that. Like, well, we don't have to do nothing, but just a suggestion. A lot of the times, the long hours of stress from work can cause us to spend to relieve the stress. You know, get out of that cycle. Become aware of it. We have to change our mindsets. The downgrading our material lives to increase our financial situation should be a good thing. Working more just to barely afford a life can get tiring. There's nothing wrong with forfeiting that gain. Work costs and physical appearance. This is something a lot of people I don't really talk about. But another book I'm going to suggest is Your Money or Your Life. So if you ever heard of the financial independent retire early movement, that book, Your Money or Your Life, is sort of kind of like the OG of that movement. And I think it's a book that people should read. Like, it's very practical, and where it's like sometimes with the FIRE movement, they in that movement they could become really, really, really extreme. Like, I look at it this way. So when you got people's personal financial situations, you got a scale or a range. So the far left is like financial independence, retire early, niggas retiring when they're like, people retire when they're like 35, 38, they don't spend no money, they're not really enjoying their lives, but they're financially stable. You got people on the far right where it's like, live now, I'm enjoying my life completely, destroying my financial future, I'm not having no fun, And I think the main thing is where I keep emphasizing balance. So can you find yourself somewhere in the middle of that, where you might be a person that's more on the end of like, I want to retire early, I want to obtain wealth faster, freedom faster, or you might find yourself on the end where like, I like to enjoy my life, but I'm still handling my business. I don't think it's one of these things where you had to be all the way left, all the way right. You get what I'm saying? I forgot where I was going there. Y'all know I talked my head off, but yeah, Your Money or Your Life. I think that's a cool book to read, which I'm halfway through with it, being honest, but I could do a video on that book. But I think it's a very practical book people should read to become aware of their financial situation and practical things you could do to change your finance and become aware of like the direction you're heading. I think a lot of people are going into a burning farm, and I don't want people to get burnt. It was something else I wanted to say too. Your Money, Your Life. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So it's another book like Bill Perkins' Dollar Zero. I haven't quite read that book, but I heard it's a good read. It's sort of kind of like enjoy your life while you have the chance to. So we got a lot of books we got to read, man. In certain industries, facts. I'm so sorry, y'all. I be talking so much. The reason I brought up Your Money or Your Life is because he talks about a lot of people spend so much money on their job that they don't need to. It's just you becoming ever more aware. Like a lot of people can save money by switching jobs or doing different things in their job because they're spending so much in their job. Like certain industries, for example, standard to keep up a certain image. You gotta buy nice clothes in the job and whatnot. Things and consumer items are looked at as a sign of skill and talents. Think about the lawyer in a bad suit. You walk in, your lawyer in a big ass suit, but you just know you about to get burnt. You not about to win. Or you got the lawyer in a nice suit, nice watch. He come in suitcase. Oh, we got a chance. Or the salesman in an old beat of car. How you gonna sell me a car and your car is 95? Bro, we in 26. Like that's how people think. So compared to the salesman in a nice car, nice fit, nice. So with work in certain industries, you want to keep up a nice image, but be careful because the image can cost sometimes. Compared to the lawyer in a really nice suit or the salesman in a new Benz. I remember when I was working at AT&T. I don't know why I said it, but I assume I said it because we were, fat. So, like, you might have it where you can wear, like, professional attire. People might take you a little bit more seriously. Or you might have it where you wear not so professional. And people still, I guess settings like that's not that bad. But, you get what I'm trying to say. And a lot of jobs, appearance is everything. Usually good-looking people get better jobs and higher pay, so people get cosmetic surgery to look better. That's statistically proven. Having a nice watch, you shake his hand, when I reach out to shake your hand, you see it. But you're supposed to wear a watch on your left hand, right? Am I tripping? Can you wear a watch on the right hand? Not for sure. Because when you shake hand, you go with your right hand. I don't know. My bad, y'all. Even women invest in their image to attract rich men. Going back to the physical appearance thing, like that'd be crazy to me. Like not going too much, but like a woman would really go get a new body and like just her whole life would change. Like that's crazy for real. Shouts out to them though. Shouts out to them. Socializing costs. So if you bring your lunch to work and everybody else go to a restaurant, you bet you be eating alone. If everybody goes to a drink at a baseball game, you be missing out. So you gotta just become aware of either. And some of these things are worth paying. Like, there's nothing wrong with going out to eat with your buddies. And, doing little stuff like that. Like, don't be that's why I say, like, sometimes with the financial independence retire early, some people you can see where they just get so extreme that they're not able to enjoy their life. If you're not into consumption materialism, sometimes it can be harder to socialize. I don't know what I was supposed to say right there. So then we got the downshifters and voluntary simplicity movement. We almost done, y'all. We almost done. People that simplify their life and focus on what really matters to them. Excuse me. So they didn't live the nice car, nice crib. They didn't live that life. They tired of it. They're ready to let go. Some of these people downshift voluntarily or involuntarily. Think about somebody who loses their job. There would be like a voluntary situation. No, that would be involuntary where you lose your job. You might have to downgrade your life because you can't. You don't got a job right now. Or someone's that burnt out from their work. So they're burnt out from their work. They might, just like, damn, what is life? And they just, what we got? Voluntary simplicity movement, your money or your life. That's what the book I was talking about. Fire independence, retire early, minimalists. Cool people to like, So how can we stop buying stuff that we don't need? I think I didn't finish it. Oh, fact. So let me talk about some of the people that was in the book. My bad, y'all. Yeah, I didn't really finish this PowerPoint like I wanted to. What we got? Overspent American. So I'm just talking about some people that. Let me see. And I don't even got the physical book on me. I left it at work, so. A lot of jobs. We all be better for carry less. So we got Alice. Damn, Jennifer. Feel like I made $10,000 a year. drug. So yeah, we're just talking about a lot of people in the downshifter movement, but yeah, we ain't even got to talk about that today because like I said, I've been talking y'all heads off. But like I said, I definitely recommend reading the book. How can we stop buying stuff that we don't need? I think awareness is one. Understand that for some of us it is a problem. I think a lot of us have a spending problem. I know I've had, just buying stuff. I wouldn't say, well, I definitely lie about that. I definitely lie. I'm not really a materialistic person at all. Like, I don't really buy a lot, being honest. But I have done it overboard when it comes to, like, experiences, like trips, games, and stuff like that. So, we all have a spending problem somewhere. And just saying, for one, just being aware of that. Like, it's a problem. That's why, the recommendation, track your expenses for a few months. And you'll see, like, where your money is going. And it helps you become aware of, like, damn, do you want to continue going down that path? Or are you trying to, switch the things up? Understand that we all have an ego. I think that's going back to awareness, I think that's big as well. That helped me a lot. Like, now, becoming aware of our ego, do the work. Most people, money problems have nothing to do with money. And that's working on our ego. Trying not to impress people as much, to buy things that we, do it. Making sure we're doing the work because. And that goes with all aspects of life. Like I even look at like just the black community in general. Like we gotta make sure we're doing the work of myself included, especially like I'm a very individualistic person, but I realize like that's not gonna help anything, myself or our people. And like I was saying earlier, like just make sure we're doing our parts, like do the work and making sure. What am I trying to say? Making sure I'm doing the work in the sense of like, how can we help each other as a people? And, a couple of the books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The reason I always recommend that book, because that was the first book that, like, really helped me shift my mind a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. You could read half of it. Like, you don't even gotta read the whole book. I don't think I ever read the whole book, but just that first half in the cash flow quadrant, like that really shifted my mind. Like obviously a lot of people, I just with all the money people like controversial, but I don't think it could hurt to read it. Your Life or Your Money. Obviously, I'm gonna make sure you read the book of what we just went over the whole thing, the Overspent American. I think that's a cool read. It's not I don't think it's a super duper popular book, but I mean, it's a really cool read in the sense like. It was written in the 90s, and you see a lot of what's going on today is back then in that book. So, Your Money or Your Life, I definitely recommend that one. Psychology of Money, The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel. I was talking a lot of the stuff I was talking about, I was taking from the Psychology of Money and The Art of Spending Money. So I definitely recommend those books. The Millionaire Next Door, The Richest Man in Babylon. So many books that we could talk about. But I think it starts with the mindset for sure. Because another problem I see is that like the smartest person, when we talk about like the smartest person when it comes to money is the person that doesn't have any money. And the reason I say that is because when a person don't have no money, like, they just saying everything. Like, bro, when I get this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then they might have that's why I'm saying go back to do the work where they didn't really do the work. So they weren't working on their ego. They weren't working on themselves to the point to where they finally got the money. And now it's like, okay, I got the money now. They don't do nothing they said they was going to do. You know what I'm saying? So when you're on the sideline watching, it's completely different than when you actually in the game now. So it starts with the mindset and realizing a lot of the ways we've been taught is not equating to wealth. And we got to, for one, just figure out, do we want to become wealthy, obtain wealth, or do we want to look like it? And either way, I don't think it's bad either way, but we got to figure out what we want to do. A lot of our younger culture is predicated, I feel like, it's a lot of good, but when it comes like financially, it's predicated on looking rich instead of actually going out and obtaining real wealth. Like, it's going back to my example of buying a beetle car, being debt free, or buying a really nice car going with $100,000 in debt. You're going to get a lot of praise for getting a nice car, but you're $100,000 in debt compared to just being debt free. So we got to realize when it's going of getting our money right and doing things in nature, you don't get praise for that. I promise. Like, it's boring, and a lot of us don't want to be bored. So that's okay, but we gotta figure out what we really want. And I think it was one more book I was trying. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Your Life, Your Money, Psychology of Money, Millionaire. It's a Rich Man Babylon. It's a million money books out there. But if you want to start somewhere, we can start there. Change your mindset, then take action. Be very practical. And I think that's it. So like I said, man, I've been talking y'all heads off. If you are still here, bro, I really, really appreciate that. But getting back to trying to post every week on YouTube and then start posting more on here if you can. Follow this Leak Broke with 2 E's, trying to post on here like little shorter videos. Yeah, man, I truly appreciate y'all. If y'all could like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, please reach out. Y'all know I don't know too much of nothing, but I try to help, try to do everything we can. We gotta make sure we're doing our parts. Is there anything else? I think that's it, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay blessed, and we're gonna keep this ball rolling.